For decades, the story of type 2 diabetes has pretty much been the same, a life of chronic management, a relentless daily grind. But right now, in 2026, that entire story is being completely rewritten. And I'm not just talking about little tweaks here and there. We are witnessing a full-blown revolution in how diabetes is understood, how it's treated, and maybe even how it's cured. So, what does this revolution actually look like? Let's dive in.
To really get how huge this change is, we've got to take a quick look back at the old reality. Because for generations, living with diabetes meant your life was dictated by the disease. It was a constant state of vigilance and mental mad.
I mean, just think about the sheer burden of it all. Your days started and ended with a painful finger prick. It was filled with multiple injections, a nonstop stream of numbers from a monitor, and that endless, exhausting mental load of diabetes math, counting every carb, dosing every unit of insulin, trying to get it all just right. And always lurking in the background was that fear of hypoglycemia, of your blood sugar crashing. It wasn't just a treatment plan. It was a full-time, unpaid, and incredibly stressful job.
But then 2026 happened, and it's like the entire rulebook just got thrown out the window. The core principles, the daily routines, the whole long-term outlook, the old rules just don't apply anymore. A new era has absolutely begun, and it's being driven by some stunning breakthroughs on all fronts.
This whole revolution, it really kicks off with a fundamental change in thinking. It's not just about building better tools, it's about aiming for a totally new set of goals.
You see, for so long, doctors were laser-focused on one single thing, that A1C number, that measure of blood sugar control. That was the whole game, the glucose-centric model. But now we're finally looking at the bigger picture. The new cardiometabolic approach goes way beyond just glucose. It's about achieving profound weight loss, protecting the heart and the kidneys, and maybe most importantly, drastically improving a person's quality of life. It's about treating the entire person, not just chasing a number on a lab report.
And fueling this whole new way of thinking is a brand new generation of medications that are frankly smarter and more powerful than anything we've ever seen before.
Leading the charge is this incredible molecule called retatrutide. It's called a triple agonist. Now, I know that sounds super technical, but here's an easy way to think about it. It's like a master key that unlocks 3 different, really important doors in your body's metabolic control center. It hits GLP-1 to crush your appetite, GIP to boost your insulin response, and glucagon to crank up your energy burning. By hitting all 3 at once, it creates this total metabolic reset that no drug before it could even dream of.
And the results? Honestly, they are just jaw-dropping. You can see the data right here from the trials. A nearly 2% drop in A1C is fantastic, don't get me wrong. But look at that weight loss. I mean, wow. Almost 17% of body weight gone in just 40 weeks. That's the real headline here.
Let's just pause on that number for a second. 36.6 pounds, on average. And what's truly mind-blowing is that the clinical data showed the weight loss wasn't even slowing down at the 40-week mark. It was still accelerating. This is the kind of life-changing result that up until now you really only saw with bariatric surgery.
And get this, retatrutide isn't even the only player in this new game. The speed of innovation is just wild. Look at mazdutide, a dual agonist. They put it in a head-to-head battle against semaglutide, which was one of the best drugs of the last generation, and mazdutide more than doubled the number of people who hit those key goals of both great glucose control and major weight loss. 48% versus 21%. The bar for what's possible is being raised higher and faster than ever.
Okay, so these new drugs are amazing. But the revolution doesn't stop there. It's also completely reinventing one of the oldest and most fundamental treatments we have for diabetes, insulin.
So, this was huge. On March 26th of this year, 2026, the FDA gave the green light to a drug called Awiqli. And why is that such a big deal? Well, it's the first ever once-a-week basal insulin. For anyone who relies on insulin, this is a massive, massive game changer for just living your life.
For more than 100 years, this was the number that defined basal insulin therapy. 365. An injection every single day. The needle fatigue, the planning, the constant, unavoidable reminder of your condition. It's an enormous physical and mental burden. And now, look at that. That number just plummeted by almost 85%. 52. What was a daily chore is now a weekly task. That is a gigantic leap forward. It's not just an improvement, it's a fundamental shift that massively reduces the burden of treatment.
So we've got smarter drugs, and we've got way easier insulin. But the next piece of this puzzle is technology. We're talking about finally harnessing tech to put the day-to-day grind of diabetes management on autopilot.
This quote right here, from the official commentary on the new clinical guidelines, just says it all perfectly. For years, we've talked about automated systems as this futuristic dream for a lucky few. Well, in 2026, the American Diabetes Association officially said, nope, automation is no longer the future, it's the new baseline, it's the standard of care.
And this isn't some vague recommendation either. The ADA completely rewrote the official standards of care. The new guidelines say that automated insulin delivery systems, or AID, are now the preferred way to deliver insulin. And crucially, you can get them right at diagnosis, not years down the road as a last resort. All those old bureaucratic barriers like needing specific blood tests or proving you've been on insulin long enough, they're gone. The whole point is to get this amazing tech into people's hands from day one, to take away that constant nagging burden of diabetes math.
Okay, so we've covered smarter drugs, easier insulin, and automated tech. And that alone is a total transformation of how you manage diabetes. But the most exciting, the most incredible part of this 2026 revolution is what's happening on the frontier of a potential cure.
And no, this is not science fiction. This is happening right now on 3 amazing fronts. First, back in February, a patient in China with type 2 diabetes actually became insulin-free after getting a treatment of lab-grown pancreatic cells. It basically gave him a new working pancreas. Then you've got Vertex Pharmaceuticals, who are getting ready to market their own unbelievable stem cell therapy for type 1. And looking even further ahead, you have companies like Genprex working on a gene therapy that doesn't replace cells, but tries to wake up and rejuvenate a person's own cells.
So, let's tie this all together. What is the new reality of diabetes care in 2026? Well, it's smarter, with medicines that deliver results we used to only see with surgery. It's easier, with once-weekly insulin and automated tech lifting the daily burden. It's more effective, because the best technology is now the standard for everybody. And, most importantly, it's just so much more hopeful, because the conversation is finally shifting from just managing this thing for life to the real, tangible possibility of a cure.
When you put all of these pieces together, the drugs, the insulin, the tech, the cure research, it all leads to one single massive question. For over a century, diabetes was defined as a chronic disease that you just managed for a lifetime. But based on this revolution we're seeing in 2026, we have to ask, is the era of chronic diabetes management finally coming to an end?